Welcome to Cycle Breakers and Moneymakers, a podcast for women of color and first gen who are breaking generational cycles and glass ceilings by going places no one before them has ever gone. I'm your host, leadership coach, and eldest daughter of immigrants, Mariela De La Mora. I left a 16-year marketing career to create a multiple six-figure-a-year coaching business as a single mom. Each week, you'll learn how to build unshakable self-trust, become in demand, lead with confidence, and make more money by being more of who you are. Hey everyone, I am coming to you from Puerto Vallarta at the end of a beautiful girls trip with my friends Liz, Erica, Karina, and Kat. And it has just been so beautiful. Like, we planned this trip months ago, back in April or so. And it's beautiful when you have friends who are also entrepreneurs, because it's like normal for people to live in different places. My friend Liz lives in Mexico City. Karina lives in Jersey. And then like me and Erica and Kat are all in California, but like different parts. It's just a normal thing to be like, we're going to make an effort to see each other like a couple of times a year, whether we are at a business event or in this case, we actually like planned this trip on purpose to be with one another. And it just filled my cup in a way that I knew that it would, just because we've been friends for several years now. And as we just had like hours and hours of conversation, this is like what happens when you get together with people you love. It's like you're trying to go to bed, but you don't want to go to bed because you don't want to miss out. And you're just having conversations and talking and talking. And it just, at the end of this week, I'm heading to the airport today. I just had, number one, like renewed gratitude and appreciation for my friends and like what they've grown through, because, you know, like you'll sit down and you'll talk to people and you're just like, damn, like we've been through some stuff as daughters of immigrants. And that's part of what I'm going to talk about in this episode is, as daughters of immigrants, many of us have had lived experiences of like hard things that we've been through, really high expectations that we have for ourselves. Like we had to operate like at a much more adult level oftentimes than other people. And how we worked through those things. And for many of us, how that's now integrated into the work that we do, which is why I felt called in this episode to talk about strengths, like natural strengths that we have as daughters of immigrants and how to not use them against ourselves. It's easy for me to appreciate them in my friends because it's like, it's not me. But I think that this is the beautiful parts about friendships, is that we are very quick to recognize our flaws, but our gifts are the things that we just tend to not even notice. We just bypass it. But like in the right community, those people are going to reflect those things back to you, right? And so that's part of what this episode is about, because I really just wanted to share this, since it's been an observation of mine all week as we've all just told each other stories that like we haven't shared before. And I was just like, wow, like we are, number one, I'm so grateful for the friends that I have. And number two, I'm just like, we as daughters of immigrants are so badass. Like we have been through so much stuff. And we think about like how, especially for those of us who are moms, and we think about, oh, I don't want to like mess my kids up and I want to be a great parent. But then I think about what we went through and where we are now. And I'm like, the fact that we even care, the fact that we are doing the work and doing the healing work and being self-aware, and that we have the intention to do the best that we can, honestly, and just be human beings and do the best we can, we already are winning. And so this is where we have these strengths, right? So we may have gone through something, we may have gone through a difficult childhood, and then we want to use that against ourselves because it's like, I never want to do that to anybody else. And like, I don't want to, and it's, like I said, it's a beautiful thing. And I want to break down some of the things that I have observed, not just through myself and my own friendships, but just through coaching daughters of immigrants the last few years, of things that you might have forgotten. You might have forgotten that you are sitting on all of these strengths because you just don't notice it, because it's just natural to you, or because you might be using it against yourself to some capacity. And I wanted to just take this time to reflect this back to y'all today, so that maybe you can anchor into some of this in your own business and in the way that you show up, and just to give yourself credit, because I just truly believe that, and this is with the daughter of immigrant experience and why I just love us so much and why I speak to you so directly is because I feel like we're the hardest on ourselves when we actually need the most compassion. And I think sometimes just in that in itself, we can unlock more ideas, like unlock more creativity, just unlock more peace because, like I said, we're the hardest on ourselves by default. So in this episode, I want to talk about 5 natural strengths that daughters of immigrants have and how to not use them against yourself. So specifically, how we sometimes default to seeing ourselves as a result of this strength. So it's almost like how we're using it against ourselves and then how to lean into it instead. With that, I wanted to dive in. And after this, sadly, I'm going to the airport. But I say sadly because I'm going to miss being here in Puerto Vallarta. Like we're here at my friend Erica's house. Her and her mom have a house here. We went to Sayulita yesterday. It was just beautiful. And I get to go home to my baby and be with her. I really miss her. And then she starts second grade on Monday. So by the time this episode comes out, we'll be there. And I'm also just modeling to her that it's important that mommy goes and she does something like with her friends and that I'm also missing her and so excited to come back to her. And I think about how that was never modeled to me, even though my parents didn't have money to like necessarily go on trips, but like I never saw modeled like my parents going on dates or like going to do something else, right? Like doing something other than taking care of us. And so I think I had to unlearn that like being a good parent meant like being present. So again, it's like we're modeling things that we didn't have modeled to us. So like with that, one of 5 daughters of immigrants, and this is not just a belief, this is actually proven, this is actually proven through studies. This is for women of color. This is across the board. I'd say for women of color. We are highly emotionally intelligent. Emotional intelligence is about our awareness of our own emotions and the emotions of others and how it influences actions. So things like problem solving, like stress management, empathy, interpersonal relationships, sense of purpose, like connection to purpose. Those things are very, like literally ranked really high in women of color. I know this because I'm hearing my friends scream downstairs, like in a happy way. This is just how we talk. I'm gonna miss this. I'm gonna miss this when I'm not here. I so I'm a certified emotional intelligence leadership coach. So in the certification process, so I'm certified to deliver an assessment called the EQI 2.0 leadership assessment, right? And it actually measures 15 different variables within us, different skill sets, some of which I just mentioned. And in order for it to be a scientifically sound assessment, tens of thousands of people, hundreds, I think even hundreds of thousands of people have to take it. And then it has to be taken. They have to redo the study every 10 years in order to show that it's actually true. And what they do is they break it down by like age. I think it's like even profession, ethnic background, all of that. And so this is how I know women of color, people of color have higher emotional intelligence. And that's not surprising to me. It's funny because that was not discussed in the certification, but I saw that and was like, this makes absolute complete sense because when you're a person of color, you have to, for survival, have to be aware of the body language of the people around you, their tone of voice, all these different things so that you can acclimate, get by, survive, all the things, right? So we are highly emotionally intelligent, which means strengths of ours that we actually have is like, we're more intuitive, right? But we second guess it. Like we know how to be influential. That's literally what that is. In order for you to actually influence people and their thoughts and behaviors and their actions and their beliefs, it takes emotional intelligence, especially an emotionally intelligent person is able to do that with people of different backgrounds. It's less important whether or not we've had a specific lived experience to someone else. We have this ability to put on the hat of someone else's perspective. That's a big part of emotional intelligence, right? So this is something that you have as a person of color, is that we have this ability to assume another person's perspective. Which is why, like in organizations, we've also been the ones who know how to appeal to different people, different backgrounds, and just be like, oh, okay, or say, I can understand where this person's coming from, even if I disagree. It's just a lot there. But on the flip side of how we use this against ourselves is like even in business is we're just being hyper vigilant of like other people's body language, how they might be towards us, or like what we think it might mean. It also means like being in our head a lot. And being in your head tends to actually suppress like your creativity and like what you actually want to do. Right. And I want you to know that as a being who is very highly emotionally intelligent, I want you to even borrow the thought of I am a naturally influential person, I know how to assume the mindset and the beliefs of another person's perspective, because that's empathy. Empathy is one of the 15 sub skills of emotional intelligence. And I want you to, as you're creating marketing, know and carry this as a belief that you know how to try on the hat of other people. So even as you are writing a marketing post and you're in your head and you're like, is this the right thing to say? All of this, what I tell my clients is, because we're so emotionally intelligent, I want you to put on the hat of one person and one problem, or one person and one possibility. Just put it on and then speak to that person individually. Your marketing will be so much stronger. That's emotionally intelligent, highly resonant marketing. And again, you have this gift because it's a skill set we have to develop when we're marginalized people, of having to use emotional intelligence for self-preservation and getting by and all things, that this is just one tangible way that you can just know this about yourself, that scientifically it's been proven in studies we are highly emotionally intelligent people, which means you are really good at assuming other people's perspectives and speaking to them directly. So I want you to take this as a gift and say, you as a storyteller, you can use this in storytelling, you can use this in marketing. Speak very specifically. One person, one problem, one person, one possibility. Either way, let that lead in your marketing and just borrow the belief. I'm really good at assuming other people's perspectives, even if I haven't lived them firsthand. Okay. So number one, use your high emotional intelligence to your favor. Number two, we also know how to make the most of any resource we have. Again, this isn't just daughters of immigrants, it's people of color. So any resource might be like the space that you have in your house. Many of us grew up in like little houses and we just made the most of that space, or the time that you have, the money that you have, the support system that you have, even if there's only one person, like how you support each other. How we use this against ourselves is silent struggling. We're the best at silent struggling. We're just like, I'm just gonna hold on to it. And we don't even realize we're silent struggling. So sometimes like in my mastermind or with my clients, it's like, they're not asking for help. Some of y'all right now are listening and you know there's stuff you need to be asking for coaching on, and you're not, because you're just like, literally it'll be like, I'm not doing well, so I can't ask. It's just like the literally like we need to just ask for help because we attach shame to it. So it's like, yeah, I don't want you to try so hard and like use this against yourself. What I want you to do instead is say, if I only have the capacity to do one thing today, or if I don't know what I need coaching on, what is the one thing I can just air out and just say out loud that would help unravel maybe what's going on? Use the little bit of whatever capacity, thought, whatever, just give, what would you do with that versus jumping 10 steps ahead? Because I think sometimes that's what we do, is we're like, I don't know. And you're like, you're just like, I don't know what this is, so I'm just not going to do any of it. Or I don't know if this is like possible, so I'm just not going to do any of it. But like, make the most of whatever you have. If you only know the first step, just do the first step. It'll get clear. If you aren't quite clear on, let's say, a thing that you're putting out there and like a new idea, it's what are you clear on? Just do it and say, okay, the clarity is going to come from it. If you only have the capacity to do B minus work, know that you are still over delivering, right? So again, a person who knows how to make the most of any resource, also knowing that your B minus work is probably going to be still over delivering, right? Number three, we're very fluid. We're part of multiple worlds. We know how to navigate a culture at home, different expectations in the workforce. It's just like navigating different things where we are never really fully part of one world. We'll tend to use this against ourselves though, in terms of masking. Many of us were accustomed to like code switching and kind of like losing yourself, right? Like losing yourself in the process. So knowing that it's a skill to be able to be fluid and navigate different worlds. The flip side is losing yourself in that and losing who you are in it. But again, bringing this back to when you are a person who can assume different people's perspectives and mindsets, the strength in this to lean into is knowing that you have the strength of assuming other people's perspectives, because that's part of how we scan rooms to be like, okay, this is the workforce, this is school, this is home, this is my friends. And in that process, like part of that is you developed empathy in order to understand what room you're in. Again, not using that against yourself to people please or mask and all of that, but also knowing this has given you a skill set in marketing. It's given you a skill set in relationship building. It's given you a skill set to solve for things even that you haven't personally experienced. So it also makes us really good storytellers and really good marketers. Number four, we care deeply. Like we care a lot. And again, this is a strength, but how we use this against ourselves is like trying to do other people's work for them. like taking the onus for their emotion, taking the onus for like their responsibility, because many of us had to be parents to our parents or be parents to our siblings when we were younger, and we got stuck with that and we didn't maybe realize that it was normal at the time. And so part of what I see sometimes with clients is like they really want to get a client an outcome, but the client isn't, and so they're like trying to solve for like doing more for the client, not having boundaries, all these different things that really aren't serving, because we're conditioned to like I said, do the work for them. On the flip side, what we're learning is how can we reframe what caring means. That caring can also be like, yes, you care, so there's no way you're going to do a bad job. Because if you care so much, there's no way you're going to do a bad job. Same thing with parenting. We care so much about being a good parent, there's no way you're going to be a horrible parent, right? Recognizing caring in itself means it's probably impossible that you're going to do horrible work, that you're going to be a terrible coach or service provider or parent or whatever. And just know, again, like when you care, this is like where the B- effort is like most people's like A plus. So take that with you. And finally, another like a strength, and this was very obvious to me this week when I was hanging out with my friends, was like we have been through a lot, so we're very resilient. So resilience is a strength. However, in the process of how we became resilient through going through hard times, different things, right? What I sometimes see is keeping people away because you don't trust people, because you've been hurt, or that's what you were taught, that like you can't trust other people. And how I'll sometimes see this showing up as not being like craving connection or craving friendships, but then being unwilling because they don't feel safe to be vulnerable. And vulnerability doesn't mean like bearing your deepest secrets or whatever, but it does mean like noticing maybe where you're keeping people at arm's length and where you will hide when you're not feeling good, but you're very quick to give. Because sometimes that's what we'll do, right? We're very quick to give and support, but when we actually need it, we have a hard time like saying it or asking for it. And then you might think, see, I can't bring these things to people, or people don't care or whatever. And it's like, no, it actually is very scary. I think that when you have been through like really hard times, to be able to be vulnerable, some people wear it on their sleeve, but other people won't. But I say that like probably one of the hardest things for daughters of immigrants to do is to let people be there for them. Because like I said, we're so giving, we're so quick to be there for people. It's such a beautiful thing. This is something that I've witnessed in so many of my friends. They are wonderful people with the biggest hearts, and they want to give and they care so much about their clients. Like when me and my friends get together, we talk about like how to be better, right? Like how to be better coaches, just be better at what we do. Like we really hold ourselves to the standard. But yet when it comes to like stuff we need, it's like answering the question, like, how are you and what do you need? It's hard. I don't want you to use your resilience against yourself. Like we've been resilient for long enough. And part of, I think, owning this and leading a little bit with vulnerability, and what I would love to see more daughters of immigrants do, is to share stories of things that have shaped you. This could be different things, just different things that shaped you. And I would not share things that you still feel like wildly like uncomfortable sharing, but things that you've worked through, right? And knowing that even if people can't relate to that, it's still a way that they can connect with you. So part of how we can lean into like our resilience, but not use it against ourselves again, is lean into some stories of different, like I said, different things that shaped you, different things that you have memories of. How did it shape your values? How did it shape a skill set that you have? How did it shape the way that you serve your clients differently? Start to just tell those stories, because those are the things that people anchor into, that even if they aren't super clear on what it is that you do, or they are, people still want to know how you think. And even, like I said, even if you're a service provider, in some cases, it's like that's still a lens to the work that you do. And again, it doesn't need to be like you're bearing your soul. I think for coaches, it can definitely be more vulnerable than if you were to, like, let's say, sell a service. But our resilience is a strength. Like our resilience is a strength if we are able to not use it against ourselves, keep everything, hold on to everything, but instead, how can we own it, celebrate it, share stories about it, and let other people see themselves in the things that we've been through. I remember like peer coaching some folks in a mastermind that I was in last year, and they were like, yeah, I've been through things, but I feel like it's not related to the work that I do. And that's why I don't talk about it. And as they shared it with me, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, that's it. That makes sense why this is important to you. Oh, there's a value there. So sometimes we think that something isn't relevant, but it has shaped your lens. It has shaped your values. It has shaped something that you stand for that other people don't. It might shape even your client experience. There are things there that matter. So with that, I hope you saw yourself in something here. I think that we're just the most beautiful, like I said, resilient people with, you have so many incredible stories that you're sitting on. Anytime I talk to my clients, talk to my friends, I'm just like, we've been through hard times, but also beautiful times and just our hearts. And I just want us to do good work and not, like I said, not use some of the stuff against ourselves and carry the weight of the world in a way that many of us default to doing. So I hope this helped y'all. If you resonated with this, I invite you to visit my website or visit me on Instagram at mariella.delamora.com. Click on the link in bio, schedule a call with me. I am offering expanded ways of working with me that are not all 6 months. So if you want Telegram coaching and just monthly calls, or just different ways of being able to hone in on a few different key areas of your life and business, I'm really excited to offer that. So just reach out, and if you're not sure, we can figure it out together. All right, y'all, I'm going to pack my stuff, get ready to go to the airport. I think my friend Karina is just about to leave, so I'm going to go say bye before she leaves, and I will see y'all next week.